Has a painting ever given you an uneasy feeling? Could paranormal forces influence the creation of artwork? What would you do if you saw the subject of a painting lurking around your home? Today, we test the believability of the haunted Woman of the Rain painting.
Welcome to Believing the Bizarre,
where we dive into the unknown and the unusual
and tell you whether or not we find it believable. Yeah, you gotta emphasize it sometimes.
It's a great show.
I've never seen
Your wife watches it.
Yes, my wife watches it.
It's good. I hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. It is, are we in October? Yes, we are officially in October.
This is October.
As of the recording, we're not in October, but
No.
It's essentially here. It's dark at 7:30 now.
Halloween. This is Halloween.
Can you scream in the dead of night?
Yes.
Yeah. I hope everyone had a chance to catch our collab with Let's Get Haunted.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
And if there's any potential haunties listening, welcome.
Yeah, it was the Gray Man episode.
It was the Gray Man episode. Make yourself comfortable. You know, you know how to listen to podcasts. I'm not saying you don't, but make yourself comfortable, relax.
Yeah. Drive to work, drive home, make dinner.
Walk your dog.
That's how you
all
do it.
at the same time. Multitask, y'all.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. We're back in haunted portrait.
So this is another haunted painting.
Like I said, portrait.
Yeah.
I said portrait, and it's not true. It's
Okay,
like when I'm
so you lied.
not knowledgeable about a topic, I just say things.
Yeah.
It's almost like they don't have meaning. It's just like car, vehicle, Chevrolet. Just like you just say it and it just comes out. And it's like a portrait is a specific thing.
Yeah.
A painting is a specific thing.
It is.
This is a painting.
Okay.
It's of a woman, but it's not a portrait.
That last question?
Well, actually, maybe it is a portrait. I don't know.
Isn't a portrait like...
It's not of a real person.
Okay.
Does that make it not a portrait?
I think it makes it not a portrait.
Okay.
That last question, Neo. The I don't like that shit at all.
Pretty spooky.
I don't like that at all.
Pretty spooky.
Sorry.
Sources right off the top, we got Moon Mausoleum, like that name.
Cool.
theghostinmymachine.com.
Interesting.
And Paranormal Catalog, which I think I've used before.
Ghost in My Machine. Sounds like a ripoff of just Ghost in the Machine.
I feel like every printer has a ghost in it, and I hate them.
Office Space has got it right with
100%.
Yeah.
Although I will say mine's been pretty reliable the last couple of years.
I need to watch that movie again.
It's good. So yes, like you mentioned, this is our second haunted painting story.
Yeah, the first one was
The Hands Resist Him.
I was gonna say I thought it was Let the Hands Resist. The Hands Resist Him.
The Hands Resist Him.
Which is creepy.
I think you're thinking let because it's Let Me In. We just watched
That's
Talk
probably
to Me
what
with
it
the
is,
hand.
Yeah.
But if you really like this topic, or if this type of topic geeks you out and tickles your eardrums, go check out Hands Resist Him. It's episode something.
Speaking of haunted shit, our listener Leanne, I don't know if you saw, she just got 3 haunted dolls. They're terrifying.
Did she know they were haunted?
Yeah, that's why she bought them. Well, she's a ghost investigator. She went on that thing, the old man's face, the whole thing with that.
I could see our producer Ben doing that to us here, like to mess with it. Just start buying haunted shit and just planting in the studio.
Like, it's crazy how they flew into the dumpster.
Yeah. So we got haunted painting. That's the topic. Phenomena surrounding the painting range from feeling uncomfortable to full-fledged seeing entities in their home, like was mentioned earlier.
Oh.
It kind of reminds me of the painting from the new It movies. The one where I think it's Stan.
I don't know if I saw that part.
Were your eyes covered?
I can't think of it.
All the young kids in it has their own thing with
that lady, right?
It's the lady, the painting.
Yes,
lady.
okay.
It's kind of
it took me a minute.
It's not really what she looks like, but that is what
I
makes me
know
think
exactly what you mean. And I hate the idea of that, like walking around a house in real life.
Yeah. No bueno.
You gotta hit it with the paint thinner.
So let's talk about where it came from, what it looks like, and then we'll get into the spooky encounters, the various owners that had the Woman of the Rain. So it has a couple names to it. It's like the Woman of the Rain, the Rain Woman.
Yeah.
It's just...
It sounds like a ninja from Naruto. It does, because there's a village hidden in the rain. So it's the woman hidden in the rain. Very ninja.
Okay. I mean, if you look at the photo, I don't think that's what comes to mind. But
Okay.
its art is ambiguous. You see what you want to see, right?
Yeah.
But it was created by Svetlana Telets,
Okay.
who was born in 1973 and studied at the Odessa Art University. She's from Ukraine. She's a painter who specializes in both surreal.
Surrealism?
No, it's like surrealistic.
Okay.
Surrealistic.
Okay.
But it's, it's surreal.
Surreal style.
Surreal shit. And abstract art.
Okay.
And I don't know about you, and this kind of goes to what I just said about like the portrait and all that. I'm someone who appreciates painting, mostly because I cannot do it.
Yeah.
But I'm also very uneducated about painting and various styles.
Took an art history class.
I own that. Did it help?
No.
Did you pass?
Yeah, I did.
There you go. But anyway, so she likes abstract, she likes surrealism. That's her style. Dreamlike qualities, vibrant use of color.
I like Dadaism, which is randomness.
I like the style, and I knew the name of it. Shout out one of our listeners, Bella. She told me what it was called. It's like when you look at the national parks where there's like layered. Maybe you know it. It's like layered. It's like got like it makes you think of like the mountains and the stuff, and it's got
Art
the name
Deco?
of the city. Maybe it's that. I don't know. I like that style.
Okay.
But anyway, back to Svetlana.
Yes. When do I get to see this painting?
You'll see it.
Okay.
Prior to painting The Woman of the Rain, Svetlana remembers that for about 6 months, which is it's a lengthy amount of time,
Yeah.
she had very creepy moments of feeling like she was being watched.
Ugh.
Just you're around your house, doing whatever, thinking about painting, fixing paintings, editing painting,
looking at paint.
Like,
I like this
mixing
color.
paint, going to
It's
Home
a good
Depot,
color.
and just feeling like eyes are on you, feeling uneasy.
Oof.
And she tried to brush it off.
Ha.
Pun not intended, I promise you. But this anxious feeling that she was being followed, watched, persisted.
That's terrible.
And it all came to a head on a particular morning. It was a bright and sunny day, like beautiful, beautiful day in Ukraine in 1996. And she decided to paint, as a painter does. So she sits down and she's looking at this blank canvas. And she originally did not have any idea or intention what she wanted to paint. Like, she didn't go sit down thinking of what she wanted to do.
Okay.
It was going to come to her. But as she's sitting down, she's looking at this white canvas paper. A figure started materializing in her mind. It was forming incredibly clear, more clearly than any other vision or inspiration had ever manifested for her. She saw this woman's face, her colors, her shades, everything. It felt like magic to Svetlana. This burst of clarity inside her mind, and immediately her hand started brushing across the canvas. It almost was like she was no longer in control of what she was doing.
Oh, man.
She claims it was almost like someone was guiding her hand, and she finished the majority of the painting in just 5 hours.
It makes me think of automatic writing.
What is that?
It's something I don't think we've ever talked about, but it's my mom used to do this actually.
Is it just AI? Is ChatGPT and some
it's
shit?
way less technical than that. You get a pen, pencil, and you sit down and you meditate while holding the pencil, and you close your eyes, and eventually you just write, and you form sentences, ideas that in theory are not from you. They're from spirit.
Did it ever work for your mom?
Yeah, she did that shit a lot. It was creepy stuff too.
The craziest thing I think would be if you did that and you look down at it and you're like, that's not my handwriting.
Yeah, well, I think that happens.
That's scary. Because like if I closed my eyes and I tried to write, it would look like shit.
Gibberish.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to read it.
Yeah, no, like my mom would do it all the time, and she would get some really weird stuff.
Do you remember anything that she got?
I don't know.
I feel like the new age of doing that would be like sitting at like your desk with your eyes closed and you got your fingers on home keys, and then you just like all of a sudden you start typing.
And it's not just gibberish; it's actual writing.
It's like what you take it like a blindfold off. What is it? It just looks like a cat walked on your computer.
See, for me though, because like the way I type, it's my one hand only.
No.
And I go like this.
That's how my dad types. Well, you use every finger?
I use all my fingers on my right hand only.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm weird.
I'm a proud 107 words per minute.
I'm not.
Just saying. But anyways, I don't know if 5 hours is a long time, or like I said, I'm very uneducated. The way that this information is presented to me and us and you now, it makes it seem like 5 hours is a short amount of time.
Is it a big painting?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
But there's definitely a certain level of detail. Now, I mean, we've had someone in our studio paint an entire mural in like 7 hours. So
she killed it.
Yeah. Shout out Tessa. But anyway, so she gets it done in 5 hours. And like I said, she described it almost like her body, her hand, paintbrush. It was like she was a tool being used by someone or something else to create this painting, or kind of how she referred to it as conjure this painting.
Man, it does sound like automatic writing. I wonder if we have a listener that knows more about that can write in.
I'm sure we do.
I hope they do. Let us know.
Be a good topic someday, too.
Absolutely.
So here's a quote from Svetlana. Quote, "One day, I sat in front of a blank canvas and thought of what to draw. Suddenly, I clearly saw the contours of a woman, her face, the colors, the shades. In an instant, I noticed all the details of the image. It seemed like someone else was controlling my hand." Unquote.
That's actually really creepy.
It is super creepy. So she took another month or so to put finishing touches on it, kept coming back to it. But then once she thought it was complete, she brought it to a nearby art salon to display her work. But before we get into that and what happened when the people started purchasing the painting, let's talk about the painting itself. Because now you're like, Tyler, I don't know what it looks like.
I got this image of a Naruto character in my head.
Well, you're wrong.
Okay.
Oh, no.
In the 90s, it could be anime.
So the painting is of a woman, as you probably discerned by now. It's from the waist up.
Okay.
It's a sort of elongated, a little distorted. The background kind of gives you the idea of like a stormy day, rainy sky type of a thing.
Okay.
The woman is dressed in all black, and every inch of her body, other than her face, is completely covered by the black clothing. She's also wearing a black wide brim hat that literally goes from like one side of the painting to the other. Like it's the full width of the painting.
Very Elvira of her.
Yeah. She's, her expression's a little hard to tell. I think some people probably are better at telling expressions or putting words to it. Like her eyes are kind of looking down. And I could see why some people might think she looks a little melancholy, a little sad. But I feel like there's also, and obviously it's open to interpretation, I feel like there's almost a little like sneaky, like I know something you don't know.
Kind of like Mona Lisa-ish.
I don't know. I'm going to show it to you.
Okay.
And I want you to give the people your thoughts. And again, if you want to know what we're talking about, one, you could search The Woman of the Rain. But, on social media, Instagram, Facebook, we will post the picture so you can see it while you're listening to the episode. All right, I just showed Charlie. You kind of were like, I don't want to look at it anymore.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that picture.
Give us your thoughts.
I could see very much what you mean by there's an expression of knowing in the picture. Almost maybe arrogance slightly. But also I could see the melancholies too just because of the background and the clothing. Could be a funeral.
It's gloomy. It feels gloomy.
Yeah. I don't like it. Elongated is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took all that paint thinner. Elongated. So that'll be up on social media if you want to follow along and see what we're talking about.
Ugh. So is your phone haunted now or like what? Like how does this work?
I don't own it.
Okay.
So
okay. You have to be the owner?
That's what I've read.
Okay, good.
And now I also read that you don't have to have it. Like it haunts the owner, not necessarily where it's at. So like if you were the owner of it and you put it in your car, it still might haunt your home.
Oh, okay. I see.
Like you take responsibility for it. Like it's still yours. Okay. So again, after completing it, she did it 5 hours, felt like someone else was controlling her. A month later, it took her about a month to do finishing touches. Maybe it was hard to come back to. She didn't really say.
I could see that.
So she takes it to an art gallery. And while there, many art enthusiasts approached Svetlana and shared that the painting truly resonated with them, even if they couldn't really figure out why. Like, I don't think they could accurately, and I wouldn't be able to, say what it is about it that drew them to it.
There's a je ne sais quoi about it.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they say in Ukraine.
Well, they might.
If they speak French. Some initially felt the same feeling that Svetlana had, though, where it's like a little uneasiness, a little anxiety.
Yeah.
But
pass.
Obviously, some people were down with it because she ended up selling it multiple times.
Nice. Good for her. Get that bag.
And by multiple times, I mean that because some people kept bringing it back because they didn't want to keep it after some of the creepy encounters that they had with it.
And she just took it back. She's like, I don't care.
See, I don't know if it was like, now you got store credit, you can buy some other art, or it's like, I'm not giving you a refund, or maybe there was a money back guarantee.
Maybe.
I don't know. But let's talk a little bit about some of these owners of the painting. You know what's scarier than hearing your voice called out in the middle of the woods at night when you know you're alone?
What?
When your wife is hangry.
Oh, yeah, that's real horror.
Yeah, and as fall season's coming up, you know you don't have as much time to cook.
Yeah, there's apple picking,
football,
hay rides,
football,
pumpkin patches.
football.
It's a very busy time. That's why you need Factor, America's best ready-to-eat meal kit, which will help you fuel up fast with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door.
Literally right to your door. Like, they even ring the doorbell. Kind of freaked me out.
From carb and calorie conscious to vegan and high-protein options, they have you covered no matter what your dietary preferences are.
And we're not just saying this for the fun of it either. We actually got to try some Factor meals ourselves.
Yeah, I got to try the loaded bacon shredded chicken.
And I smashed their vegan mushroom marsala.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. And with Factor, you're not just choosing convenience, you're getting sustainability.
That's true. Factor offsets 100% of their delivery emissions and sources 100% of their renewable electricity for their production sites and offices.
So head to factormeals.com/bizarre50 and use the code bizarre50 to get 50% off.
That's code bizarre50 at factormeals.com/bizarre50 to get 50% off.
So there have been 4 known owners outside of Svetlana of this painting.
Okay, are they all over Europe or are they all over the world? Like, what's the range?
I believe it's just Ukraine and Russia.
Interesting. Very interesting with the circumstances going on right now.
Yeah. They don't overly explain where each person was, and one of them I don't even think has a name.
I had a fantasy in elementary school about learning Russian.
Yeah?
Yeah. I never acted on that.
My kindergarten teacher left us for the entire year to go adopt 2 children from Russia.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get them?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So the first owner, or the first person to buy it, was a businesswoman named Larissa. And as far as I know, although I admit it wasn't explicitly stated, she was the woman I would imagine bought it from the art gallery.
Yeah.
It gets very vague from here on out, just being honest. And I tried cross-checking sources as much as possible, so I'm going to give you the best of what I can, but it's not like super, super detailed. But anyway, she felt very drawn and connected to the painting, and upon purchasing it, she decided to hang it up in her bedroom.
What? Ugh.
Doesn't seem like a bedroom-type painting.
No.
Yeah.
No. She wanted to keep that bedroom frosty, bro.
So it wasn't long after purchasing The Woman of the Rain that she was actively trying to get rid of the painting.
How long?
Not long. It doesn't say, just not long.
Wow.
She reported that very shortly after hanging up The Woman of the Rain, she started feeling like someone was watching her. Whether she was walking in the hallways, sitting down for breakfast, laying in the bed at night, she felt eyes on her. And she lived alone. So there was no other reason for this, but she felt like there was another presence in her home.
Don't like that.
Just a persistent feeling that someone else was around.
That's not good.
And those feelings were the strongest, of course, in her bedroom. So it's reported that she gave Svetlana a call and stated the following, quote, "Please pick her up." Notice she said her, not the painting. "Please pick her up. I cannot sleep. It seems that there's someone in the apartment besides me. I even took it off the wall and hid it behind the closet." Unquote.
Oof. Ooh. See, I wouldn't give it a pick it up call. It'd be like, I'm taking it here call.
Yeah. But either way, Svetlana took it back. And
that's kind.
Like I said, I don't know if
I feel like there's no refund involved. I feel like
you think there's a refund?
No, I don't. No refund. I don't think she got money back for it.
I also have no idea what it sold for.
Interesting.
Like all 4 times that it sold.
Yeah.
No idea. Whether it went up in price, down in price, stay the same. I don't know. So again, she's attending art galleries. She's displaying her painting, letting folks know it's for sale. And the second person interested in buying The Woman of the Rain was a young man named Eugene. So Eugene purchased the painting and ended up hanging her up in his living room.
Okay.
And he heard in passing about talking with Svetlana.
Yeah.
He knew about the history of the painting. He knew about how it affected the first owner. But Eugene didn't believe in all that supernatural mumbo jumbo.
No. Why would he?
No. I just really want this painting of this woman.
With her fuzzy hat.
Her big black fuzzy hat. Almost immediately after putting the painting up in his living room, he started having his own experiences. And it started his dreams. Whether it was a nightmare or whether he was just having a normal, typical dream, the woman from the painting always seemed to invade them.
Ugh.
No matter what he did, she found her way into his dreams. At first, it was just unusual, but the feelings of terror he had during the dreams and upon waking were terrible. Then he started noticing things while he was awake. Wandering around his home, he started seeing things out of the corner of his eye.
Oh.
At first, he just attributed it to poor sleep, maybe he's just seeing things. These nightmares were keeping him up.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting good sleep. So maybe it was just like some type of hallucination or he just was a little drowsy, so he's making these things up. But the shadows he saw started becoming more pronounced and more shaped like a woman. He never got a clear picture of whatever he was seeing in his home, but after hearing of the first owner's stories and seeing how quickly everything was going downhill in his own home, he too returned the painting to Svetlana.
Real quick, I think. Man, that's creepy. That's so creepy. I hate that, actually.
Here's a quote from Eugene. Quote, "I dream of her. Every night she appears and follows me like a shadow." Unquote.
Man.
Now, I will say, in terms of bias, he was certainly primed. Like,
Yeah,
if anyone can be like, one of these people might have been poised to, to make something out of something that's not there.
Mhm.
Like when you start projecting that, it's like, like I'm going to watch a scary movie. You watch a scary movie and then you're done. You're scared going
Yeah.
up to your steps that you've walked up a million times. If you watch a comedy movie, then it doesn't bother you.
Mhm.
So Eugene definitely could have been biased based on what he heard. But the first person, that's not really the case. And
No.
Svetlana, I mean, what she felt prior to painting it, and to be clear, she never experienced anything after it. It was kind of like she had these creepy feelings. She's being watched,
Yeah.
anxiety. She paints it, like guided paint it, and it's out of her.
Yeah.
Even when she's housing it while these other, like waiting for it to be sold, she didn't have any more experiences. It's kind of like it got what she needed from her.
Yeah.
It went out into the world, and it's like kind of like The Ring, the movie The Ring, where it's like you have to share it so it leaves you alone.
Yeah.
It's like she did her part. She made it, so I'm not haunting you anymore. I'm haunting the next people. It's not just like laying dormant, waiting for the next owner.
Mm-hmm. Would you buy it?
No. If it was a Dave Matthews Band concert poster, maybe. Would I overpay for it?
Probably, yeah.
But then I'd sell that shit and make more money. But let's get to the third owner. So the painting was sold a third time. And again, this owner thought that they would be the outlier.
Sure.
That sure, other people were experiencing creepy things, but I'm not going to experience
There's
anything
no way
supernatural.
I'll experience this
No.
This terrible haunting.
I'm special. I'm
Right.
different. And of course, they were wrong. And they were also nameless. So I don't know what their name was.
Oh.
Yes. But this nameless owner started also feeling very uneasy around the painting as soon as it entered their home. The thing that really stuck out to this person, though, was the woman's eyes. Once it was hanging, he always felt like no matter where he was in the room, he felt like her eyes were on him. And it was the whiteness of her eyes that really got to him. Not just the fact that she was looking at him, but just this whiteness. He felt her white eyes were everywhere, and he had this sinking feeling that he would end up drowning in them, which is like, I feel like that's like an art enthusiast.
I was
like,
just thinking it's a very artistic way of putting that.
I'm drowning in her white eyes. I simply cannot hold on to this painting any longer.
I feel like it's interesting to me that everyone's experienced this a little bit differently.
Yes. And again, this person was knew of the history.
Yeah.
But here's a quote from this nameless man. Quote, "At first, I didn't notice how white her eyes were. And then they began to appear everywhere. It seemed like just a little bit longer and I would drown in them. I'd rather buy something classic." Unquote.
It's very art
you got to
collector-y.
knock off Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Throw that up there. So let's get to the fourth and final owner. Final as far as I know of the recording this podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
So after the 3 failed attempts at ownership, Svetlana's Woman of the Rain hung dormant for years. She actually had it hung in a furniture salon in Vinnytsia, Ukraine for a while. And apparently patrons of the shop claimed to have dreams of the woman after visiting it.
Oh.
I think it's like a furniture showroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
gotcha.
and they felt like, and some people felt like they knew the woman in the painting, like they'd met her before, like actually like maybe it was a portrait. Like, oh, I know who that is, but they just can't put your finger on it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also,
It's bizarre.
yeah, I don't like it. Others claimed that they would see the woman in their homes. Could you imagine going to for us, it'd be like an Ashley Home store, right? Like imagine you go and you're like, you're not thinking about anything other than like, am I going to buy this? You're not thinking about like,
I need a couch.
yeah.
Is this too expensive
You're like,
though?
it is.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, I'm looking at this furniture. I don't want to open a credit card. And then you're just looking and this picture catches your eye. And you're like, that's strange. And it just like, maybe the whole time you're there, you just keep glancing up at it. And it just, you're like, when you leave, that's the thing that sticks in your mind. And then the next thing you know, you start seeing the woman from that painting in your home.
Oh my God.
And you probably didn't even buy anything. And if you did, you got double screwed.
Yeah. Yeah.
The markup is insane.
It's true.
So probably bad for business.
I imagine so. Yeah. I put that stuff in the back.
Yes. But Svetlana didn't feel any rush to sell or get rid of the painting. And for her, it was kind of like she had this feeling that, okay, it was sold 3 times. It didn't work out. Clearly, there's an owner out there that's meant to have this painting. It's not meant for anyone or just anyone.
Yeah.
It's failed. So clearly, there's a particular owner it needs, and kind of like thinking, like almost like a destiny. Like, I'm not going to force this painting on anyone. I'm not going to go to my way to sell it. When the person that's meant to have it appears, it'll work itself out.
Zach Baggins.
Yeah, what are you doing here? Just shopping for my museum.
Yeah, I was looking for a Ukrainian couch.
Adam, go grab it and cuddle it for 12 hours.
He locks me in the room with it for like 14 days.
Stare contest with it.
Adam's like, I'm scared.
So after about 11 years after the third owner, the Woman of the Rain was purchased I've seen some 2007, some 2008. So we'll just say mid-2000s.
Okay.
By a musician named Sergei Skachko.
Okay.
Russian musician.
Yeah.
Who felt strongly that the picture belonged to him. He actually sought it out. Like he
saw it online. He was like,
read an article. He read an article about it and its history, and he tracked down Svetlana so he could go buy it. And he was willing to take all the risks accompanied with it, like the creepiness, the uneasiness, the shadows, all of it. He saw it. He knew it. He knew going into it, so he accepted that. He ended up bringing it back to Russia with him, hung it up, and he was very satisfied with it. However, he does not want to get rid of it. He has no interest in getting rid of it, but that doesn't mean that it's not affecting him in some ways. Here's a quote from Svetlana.
Jeez, oh man.
Quote, I saw a video clip where Sergei showed Rain Woman hung up near his desk. He said that she walks around the room at night and his wife is afraid of her. His wife has said that since he bought Rain Woman, they began to quarrel often. Everything in the house broke down, and someone seemingly walked around the apartment at night. Therefore, when her husband went on tour, she removed the picture and hid it away from the home. Unquote.
Jeez, oh man. That's terrible.
Still sticking strong to it, though.
Yeah.
So that's where we are with the painting as of now that I know of. Here's a theory as to what it might be happening from a priest in the area, the same town where the furniture showroom was from. And I got this from Paranormal Catalog. Quote, Father Golaskevich, a priest of the Transfiguration Cathedral in Vinitsa.
Wait, stop.
Vinitsa?
No, the Transfiguration.
Huh? That's what it says, man.
Turn into a cat?
Sorry, okay, sorry. He believes that art can either be spiritual or soulful. He refers to the painting being discussed as soulful and believes that it does not come from God. He cautions potential buyers to pay attention to their feelings and aftertaste before purchasing any work of art. He believes an artist imbues their mood at the moment of creation into the work, and it is unknown who or what may have been guiding the artist. Even if the painting were to be consecrated, it may not help if something unclean was involved in the creation. With the Woman of the Rain, it is possible that the power of suggestion could have led them to seeing and hearing things that weren't there. Perhaps the painting opened them up to seeing the paranormal world, which was there all along. Unquote.
Man, he's got a point.
Mm.
He's got an interesting point.
It is very interesting. Like, because really, it's like, I mean, when you think about music, right?
Yeah.
Like, you might have a very joyful person, but, you know, if they were going through a rough breakup or they lost, like, a family member and they write a song, you can just tell it's, like, a really good song, you know what that artist was going through.
Yeah.
A really good painting. I don't think I have the eye for it the way that some people do.
Right.
But you can kind of get a feel for, like, what that artist might have been going through or, you know, because there's some people that try to, like, I want to try and emote this in a painting, but it's like, I feel like when it rings true to what they were going through at that time, it's just different.
Like when I try, it's just stick figures. So like you can't see anything.
You have to look through the stick figure.
Yeah. But like, I understand what you're saying. Like it could, if you had that eye for art like that, you could definitely see more than what the average person would see.
Is the stick figure smiling or is it frowning?
Exactly.
So just to kind of add some fun to it, to today, to this episode, and we will get to the discussion. The discussion will be purely based on this because I do want to know your thoughts on all this stuff because it's very creepy.
Yeah.
I did poll to haunted painting stories from Reddit that I like to include in here just because why not?
Sure.
All right, I got 2 haunted painting stories from Reddit. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Story number 1, quote, I'm hoping that someone out there can help me figure out what it is going on in my house and how to stop it. I've always been a skeptic, but my experience with this painting has led me to believe that there's spirits out there, some of which are not exactly friendly. Let me first give some context. I regularly go thrift shopping in my small town in Ontario, Canada. About 3 weeks ago, I went into the Salvation Army to pick up some vintage finds. I sometimes go into the housewares, the art section, see if there's anything worth picking up or to resell. That's when I saw it. I'd always been interested in creepy, unsettling, and dark things, and this painting immediately caught my attention. Let me describe it. There's a dark figure sitting in a wooden chair, staring into a mirror with its hand on its head, almost as if it's in shock. In the mirror is not the person's reflection, rather another dark figure standing. It almost looks like its hands are cut off. Its arms are long, and there looks to be blood on the mirror. The walls are cracked and show plaster. There's also scratch marks with the same red as on the mirror on the walls. I'm wondering if this means the person in the chair is trying to escape. There's also some kind of box, kind of reminds me of a Dybbuk box, in the corner of the room. Possibly the most disturbing part is the upside-down family portrait. I have no idea what it all means. It was as if it was begging me to take it home. I was overwhelmed by this sense of urgency. I needed this painting now for whatever reason. The more I looked at it, the more I discovered new details. It's not a particularly nice painting. It has a very unrefined feel to it, but it was not the style that drew me in. It was the subject matter. I ended up adding the painting to my cart and continued to shop around. The painting ended up only costing me $2, which I considered a deal since it came in a relatively nice older frame. I had it in my room for a couple of days before I noticed strange things happening. I live alone in an apartment, and it's generally quiet and peaceful. That all changed by the third day that I owned the painting. At first, it was just harmless things happening, and I thought nothing of them. Things like cupboards opening, things falling, lights flickering. I just attributed the cupboards opening to me being forgetful. Things falling as, I'm not putting things back properly, and light bulbs need replaced. But by the 6th day, the nightmares started happening. In my nightmares, some dark figure approached me on the side of the bed from my closet while I was stuck in some sort of sleep paralysis, not being able to do anything while it comes towards me. It would get closer and closer to the side of my bed. It would look at me while I was frozen. If I could give some comparison to this thing, whatever it was, it looked like the monster out of The Grudge. I've had this reoccurring dream 5 or 6 nights since I got the painting, all with the figure from the painting coming to visit me. After the first nightmare, I knew that these incidents had something to do with the painting. The energy coming off of it was dark, and it got darker and darker until I was so uncomfortable that I moved the painting out of my room. Okay, here's where things get even weirder. I decided to investigate the painting further and take it out of its frame. As soon as I took it out of the frame, the smell just overtook my home. The painting never smelled prior. It was only when I removed the glass and the wood frame that this stench of sulfur came over everything. It was putrid. After countless nightmares, I moved the painting to my basement storage locker at the bottom of the apartment complex. The dreams have stopped, but the cabinets opening and stuff like that still happen. Something else started too. I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night to hearing what sounds like scratches at my front door. When I go and investigate, there's nothing there. I've asked my neighbors, but they don't hear anything. In addition to the paranormal occurrences, my health has also taken a hit since I got the painting. I've been feeling unwell, run down, and incredibly depressed. I tried telling people about it, but no one really believes me. The only one who said anything that makes me feel like I'm not crazy is when my dad came over and took a look at the painting. The first words to come out of his mouth were, "Damn, that's dark." There will probably be people who say throw it out or burn it, and I would, but I have this irrational fear that whatever spirit was in the painting might get even angrier. Unquote.
She's in danger. She's in danger? Oh my God. Why would you buy...
Well, if it's real, right?
If it's real.
Reddit, you gotta...
I'm going in with this just assuming it is real.
That's fair.
But, oh my God, that's scary.
I feel like, it's not like it was a pleasant painting that just happened to be haunted.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with people who like paranormal or... this seems to go beyond paranormal. Dark, like if you like artwork that's dark, tattoo people that like tattoos, I feel like there's a lot of people that have, people getting their faces melted off. And, that type of like artwork tattoos. Like there's nothing wrong with liking that style. But I feel like when you buy this painting at a secondhand shop, like I'm not saying you should be prepared for this.
Don't expect it, but also
it shouldn't be like what's happening. It's like it's not like it's a dandelion and a puppy photo.
Yeah,
just
right.
all of a sudden now you're terrified. You got Cujo just running around your dreams.
That would be interesting.
I'm not saying that they deserve that or that they signed up for it. It's just kind of like
use your head a little bit, man. That's creepy.
We both have a hand in the artwork that is involved with Believing the Bizarre, and we work with Jalen and all that.
Yeah.
I definitely am more in like the aesthetic, the tree line, night sky, UFOs, and stuff like that. What is your like paranormal aesthetic?
Campfires.
Yeah,
campfires. I think campfires are like what I like a lot.
You don't like the blood and the skull melting.
No,
hardcore.
I like 2000s pop punk shirts.
Oh, like Monsters and
yeah.
Hate that.
Well, sorry.
I mean, I think I'm in the minority. It was very, very like if you went to Hot Topic.
Yeah, I like the fun colors. I like fun colors and campfires.
There's a Day to Remember shirt. Oh, it's a monster. There's a Pierce the Veil shirt. It's Monsters. There's Scary Kids scaring kids.
Yeah. I do like though? Style wise. I like American traditional.
Yeah.
Like I have 3 American traditional tattoos. So it's a style that I like a lot.
I only know what that is because of Ink Master. That was Oliver's thing, right?
Was it? Yeah, it was.
All right, let's move to story number 2 from Reddit. Quote, last year, my junior year of college, me and 4 other friends moved into a house together. We all brought our own things to decorate the house, posters, paintings, etc. One of the paintings was of a bartender pouring a martini. We ended up calling this guy the Martini Man. I had a weird feeling about it right off the bat. His wide eyes would follow you around the room, and there was just something creepy about it. When you were alone with it, it still felt like there was a real presence with you. About a month or 2 after moving in, activity started happening. One day, I was sitting on the couch in the living room playing some video games. I started hearing slamming at the front door, and it was loud. It sounded like somebody sprinting and body slamming into the door. Thinking that maybe it was just a loud knock, I went to go see if there was anyone there. Nothing. This persisted throughout the entire day, and I would get up over and over again to see if there was anyone there, and there never was. It was the middle of the day, too, which just really confused me and creeped me out. I decided to test the door, shaking it, slamming it, knocking it, jumping to it. Nothing I did was as close to the loud noises that I was hearing. To top it off, this happened one day and one day only. I never heard this happen again. The last personal story is about the footsteps. This happened in the summer when it was just me and one other guy living in the house. It was about 2 a.m, and I was lying in bed playing on my laptop. I started hearing really loud footsteps coming from downstairs. They were like fast stomps. It sounded like someone sprinting while completely drunk. At first, I just thought it was a drunken roommate, but there was something strange in the pattern to them. I would hear them start in one part of the house, stomp to another, stop for a while, but then pick back up in a completely different part of the house. Eventually, they came running up the stairs directly to my door and stopped. I was frozen with fear during the silence. Then they started up again, downstairs this time. It kept going on for at least 10 more minutes. I should probably explain why I pin all this on the painting and not the house itself. As I already said, its eyes would follow you around the room, and it had a creepy vibe to it. People would come over and say that the painting scared them without hearing any of these stories. We had some girls over for a party, and they insisted that we take the painting down. I quickly agreed, and I took it off the wall. That's when I saw, written on the back of the canvas, the name of the painting. Quote, "The Spirit of the Bartender." Quite frankly, I thought this was hilarious, as I've been expressing my distaste for this painting to my roommate for some time, and this just completely backed up my claims perfectly. After that year, the roommate to whom it belonged to moved out and took the painting with him. The activity died immediately after that. Unquote.
Interesting. You know what, though? I feel like everyone's a little bit primed against a bartender just because of The Shining.
Yeah, I could see that. I think it's very interesting, too, that when he was describing the footsteps, he said it felt like someone was drunk.
Yeah, I thought that, too.
I was like, ugh.
Yeah, and even like trying to break into a house like that, that's kind of a drunken activity.
Yeah. So those are two stories just for fun, for some entertainment. There's really not much to break down I mean, I guess technically there's a lot, but it's not the main topic.
Right.
It's just some more haunted painting stories because it fits the theme for today. But let's get to the discussion and talk about the Woman of the Rain. All right. So before we get to the discussion, we'd like to stop the episode and thank our newest patrons who, as of the recording of this episode, are Angelica, Olivia, and Fidel. Fidel, you slid in there right before we started recording
just
this.
Right into home.
Perfectly. So if you are liking the podcast, if you want a little bit more, we upload once a week, and if you're all caught up and you're just looking for something else to fit in your schedule, we have tons of bonus content over on Patreon. Charlie, what is one thing that you would like to highlight about our Patreon?
Absolutely. One thing I want to talk about. Well, actually, can I get two really quick?
As long as it's not mine.
Okay. Well, we've got our quiz coming up next month, which I always love.
Well, technically it's this month.
Yeah. Oh my God. I forgot it was October.
It's hard.
Our quiz coming out. I love the quiz. It's a lot of fun for me. I'm gonna be real honest. I'm not have a winning streak right now.
You're not in your bag at the moment.
I'm not. But I expect October, the high holy season, as Liz Sauer would say, it's going to be my comeback time. It's going to be my comeback.
Revenge season.
Yeah. And also, October is going to be our second game night.
Ooh.
Because we have quarterly. Our quarterly game night, which sounds arbitrary to some.
It's virtual too.
But it's where we have this game night virtually, like you said, where our not tier patrons can join us in a game, and we just spend some time having a good time.
Last time it was the one night werewolf game.
A lot of fun.
Love that game. I like the card version a lot too. Good time. What I would like to highlight is our Netflix watch party. It's coming up tomorrow as of the recording. This would have been last week when you're hearing this. But basically what we do is we put a poll up on our Patreon, and it's 3 Netflix movies. Y'all get to pick it. Y'all get to vote. Pick what we watch. We use the Teleparty Chrome extension. So us and either our dedicated or not tier patrons, we all watch it at the same exact time live. We're chatting about it. We're talking in the comments section, laughing, saying we're terrified, telling us what characters we think are going to die first. It's like watching a movie with our patrons.
It's the best way to watch a scary movie.
It's so much fun. It is so much fun, and I love horror movies, so I love doing that. But beyond that, we got the quiz, like Charlie said. We have merch that we give out. We have enamel pins. Producer Ben quizzes us on our own episodes, social media response, director's cuts.
It's a bunch of stuff on the Patreon.
So much mini encounter episodes.
Yeah.
So much over on Patreon. So if you like the podcast, you want a little bit more, go check that out. But with that said, let's get back to the discussion. Okay. So the Woman of the Rain.
Yeah. So it's like this elongated picture of a woman, like elongated by like even the head is longer than it would be. The features are long. The eyes are, can't say long, but the hat is also kind of like this like fuzzy thing.
Yeah, it does seem to have.
I wonder if it's actually fuzzy or if it's like the rain is doing that.
It could be the rain because if you look at it, it looks like there's kind of like.
I'm good. No, thank you.
Okay.
I don't like it. I like the hands resistant more than that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one's definitely closer. It feels like she's more up in your grill.
Yeah.
So I think my thoughts would always be like, if somebody was like, hey, that painting, it's haunted. And my instinct would be like, why? like was it in the presence of a traumatic event? Did the painter kill someone and use their blood to paint you? Like, why is it haunted? And even though we don't have a clear-cut answer for this, and, we're humans, we don't, we want clean-cut answers. We don't always get clean-cut answers. But what's interesting about this one, in terms of making the idea that it could be haunted a little more believable, is that its creation is rooted in a little bit of paranormal.
Yeah, its creation is very scary, actually.
Like, it's not like just she painted it. It was a sunny day. I'm happy. And then people started getting it, and it's haunted. And that would be very unusual, too.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that couldn't happen, but the fact that she was feeling these creepy, feelings of being watched and anxious, and like someone was following her, and it all leads up to like this moment where she's painting it, but she doesn't feel like she's in control.
Yeah.
And then she's done and she doesn't experience it. It's like it found her, saying, I'm finding the person to create what I need.
Use her as a conduit.
Use her, and then it's like, okay, you did your part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think that gives that more credence. I think it gives this painting more authority to be haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what it actually is, too. Is this a spirit? Is it something else?
We haven't really covered, like, in a different podcast, we talked about Dybbuk box. But have we talked about paranormal, like Annabelle, but have we really talked about paranormal objects much on here?
Mm-mm. No, we haven't really talked about that.
So there's not really much to refer back to.
No, although one day I think you will do that episode, yeah.
Me?
I assume so. I don't want to do it.
You don't want to do it?
No, it's too scary for me.
We'll just put Mindseed on here.
Right? I want to be a listener for that one.
I don't know, because I feel like sometimes people like put spirits in things to like remove ability.
Yeah, well, like I was going to say Annabelle, but that's not quite right.
Yeah. It's almost like this thing wanted it to happen, though.
Yeah.
It's like I'm powerless in whatever form I'm in. I need you to...
Or if it like focused it at all, or if it made it sharper.
I don't know. Now, if she was advertising it as like a haunted painting, and then I think you can definitely let the bias come in.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like if she's... And maybe she did, because I keep saying the first guy didn't know, it just happened. But she's at the art gallery, and maybe they're like, "Oh, so what inspired you to paint it?"
Yeah.
Well, I was being haunted for about 6 months, and then actually I didn't even paint it. It's kind of I shouldn't even put my name on it.
It happened, right?
It just happened. You want to buy it? You want to buy
guess.
it? No refunds.
Although she seemed pretty upset when she started getting haunted, though.
Yeah.
So
I think it's interesting too that this is probably more of like an artist thing because it's so much about influence. She really emphasizes, Svetlana, that it was a bright, beautiful, sunny day. Like, I think even she finds it strange that she was inspired in the moment to paint something that was gloomy and dark and stormy when it was such a beautiful day.
Sometimes you want the opposite of what you see.
True, but it must have been unusual for her to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
For us, maybe not so big of a deal, but for her, maybe she is very easily inspired by what she sees and what is around her.
Yeah.
Because she sat down not knowing what she was going to do. So maybe she was going to look around and just find that inspiration. And what she painted was nothing like what she was witnessing. Mm-hmm. It was what she was feeling or what,
It is weird how it was created. I do think of the automatic writing. I know I mentioned already, but...
Yeah. As skeptical as I naturally feel about someone saying a picture is haunted, because I like dots that connect. Even I go through life not expecting dots, but when I get it, it just draws me to it even more.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that this has this just pushes me more into buying into it than I would if somebody just told me randomly. Like, it's like a joke. It's like, don't buy that doll at the Goodwill. It's probably haunted. It's like, haha, but it's probably not.
Yeah.
It's probably not. But, like with this instance, so let me ask you, do you think there's any chance? The only other explanation is bias, well, I don't want to say bias. That's not what I'm priming. Priming and coincidence. Those are the only two things working against it. I'm not saying I'm not saying there's a lot of footing to that belief, but it's kind of like it's either haunted or people are primed to feel like it's haunted and they start imagining things, or it's just coincidental.
Yeah, I don't know. It
just happens to keep getting sold to haunted houses.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I buy it, honestly. I think objects can get haunted, and this thing, it seemed like, was birthed to be haunted. So I buy it.
Or let me tell you this idea. The people buying it are always throwing fancy pants dinner parties.
It's true. Yeah.
And they want to have fancy pants.
We are assuming at this point, but
art on their walls because they want to impress their art friends. So they buy this artwork assuming that they're going to give it back. It's like those sitcoms.
So like you rent a dress.
Yeah, it's a sitcom where you rent a dress, you buy a TV, all this furniture, clothes, and then the character finds out at the end either they get store credit or it's like, oh, it's damaged, you can't bring it back.
Yeah, and then, I think that happens on Fridays.
They learn a lesson. It happened on Grinding for Life too. But regardless, it's like I'm gonna buy all these paintings and buy this painting, put it on the wall, knowing I'm just gonna bring it right back.
3 people in a row though.
4 technically. Well, I guess
he
the 4th guy.
Back. Yeah,
he's
haunted
a musician
for life.
Yeah, for life. Well, his wife is.
I don't know. I think it's haunted. I go with believable.
You go straight believable.
I do. Yeah.
I think, like I said, compared to a lot of other instances where somebody might be like, it's a haunted painting because of how it was created. The creation of this is so unusual and already immediately rooted in it. The only other thing I can think of is that she used it as a sales pitch to like make it more unique, but obviously it's not working.
No.
Because it keeps coming back. She's like, damn it, I shouldn't have done that.
She gets to sell it 3 times.
If she's not, that's true. You know what, actually? Is it just a but then...
No, because you can't assume people are going to buy it.
Right. Like, she can't, she can't know that people are going to bring it back.
Right.
You know, like, unless she wasn't expecting that. It was supposed to be just a first-time sale thing. Like, what if she doesn't really think it's haunted, and then it actually was? And it just, she's like,
that's actually funnier.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm going to go viable. I definitely see how it could. It's definitely closer to believable than skeptical.
I'm glad that it's somewhere stuck in Russia right now. That's what I'm glad about.
So that is our episode on the Woman of the Rain.
You know what's interesting? This whole topic made me think of this guy on TikTok. Let me finish.
I didn't say that.
You laugh. So he has like this little Altoids container. And the last one I saw, he was in like this like tropical beach. And he pulls out his little Altoid containers. He has little paints. And he makes this beautiful portrait in the Altoid container. And it was like a picture. It was beautiful.
Man, the people that can paint and the people that can sing really, really well. I'm envious of them both. I would do it all the time. I would start TikTok.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like he's kind of like Bob Ross about it. It's just like, I see a little tree here. Little beautiful. Like, how are you doing this?
You accidentally spilled your whole can? That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry. That's a happy accident.
Yeah.
That's cool. Man, if you were to go to like a Goodwill or, you know, somewhere like that and a Salvation Army, and you found and let's say it's not a scary painting, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just say maybe it's a painting of a dog that looks like Apollo or something. Or just something that speaks to you, something with like maybe your astrological sign or Steph's or something. Yeah. Would you think twice about it being haunted, or would you buy it and just not?
No.
So this isn't something you just you would think about going into.
I wouldn't. Like, I've seen people like buy paintings that are like not creepy, like autumn themed.
Yes.
And they paint over them, like paint ghosts them or something.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not worried about them being haunted, but if it's like really creepy, like that one Reddit story, like I'd pass.
Yeah, I have no interest in buying something that, like, if it already looks creepy, you're going to feel like, even in the studio here, like we have a bunch of artwork up, but other than like the cryptid thing, which has like as a whole, it's not scary.
Yeah,
there's things in it,
elements.
Yeah, see the Sierra Nevada monster, Penelope, she's creepy.
Don't like that.
But
should put a sticky note over her.
The majority of our artwork in here is not scary.
No.
Like our mural's not scary.
No.
I love scary movies, I like scary games, but I don't like scary artwork because
I don't like scary imagery. Yeah.
Probably the scariest, because like I don't want to look at it.
Right.
It's a jump scare all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
The scariest thing I think I ever owned was 2012 or 13. I was at a flea market and somebody was like selling like movie pictures, like it was kind of like artwork based on a film.
Yeah.
And it was a Tim Curry It poster.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't like over the top, but it was like you could tell it was the clown.
Do you still have that one?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
And like I think my mom saw it, was like, oh, that's creepy. Or like Claire saw it and that was creepy. But it's like, I liked it a lot. Even before the new one. But other than that, like I'd be like creeped out looking at it. I don't like stop looking at
scary imagery. So yeah.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
With that. But if you I guess it doesn't matter if you like scary imagery or not. If you like this podcast, if you like scary podcasts or sometimes scary podcasts, and you want to let us know about it, Apple Podcasts, feel free to leave a 5-star rating and a review. And if you're on Spotify, in this specific episode, you can let us know what you think about this specific episode, and we'll read it and we'll share it, and it's a good time, and we really appreciate the feedback.
We do. We love it. And also, if you're caught up on all our episodes and you want to hear some more, we have a whole back catalog on Patreon.
Back catalog.
If you're interested in that kind of thing, that's there too. But if you're not, that's also fine.
There's tons of stuff out there, though, and there's shirts, there's hoodies, there's enamel pins, quizzes, bonus segments. We watch movies, we do Google Hangouts. So much extra stuff out there.
And also, before we leave,
Ah,
if you have not heard our crossover episode, Let's Get Haunted, check that out. It's The Gray Man.
it's what?
The Gray Man.
The Gray Man. I thought you said that's great. Like, oh man,
Oh,
that's
man,
great.
that's great. It's The Gray Man.
That's what I heard, but that's
No.
not what I felt. And I
It's
was
the
saying-
Gray Man episode.
And if you are a haunty from Let's Get Haunted and you listen to this episode all the way through, we appreciate that you're giving our podcast a chance.
Yeah. And soon you will also hear some familiar voices.
That is very true. And also, last plug reminder: it is spooky time. This is our month. You kind of have to be on this month. This is kind of like our tax season.
Yeah.
We are continuing our trend 4 years in a row. We will be doing a live Halloween episode. I think next week, our next episode, we will take some time to really hammer in some details.
Yes, for sure.
So stick with us one more week, but we will give you the details. But yes, we are doing another live Halloween episode on site somewhere, but we'll talk about that later. But with that said, thank you everybody so much for listening. As always, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Charlie.
And catch us next week on Believing the Bizarre,
A podcast as bizarre as you are.